Hey guys, so let's talk about Arweave today. So Arweave is like a blockchain, that not many people even in the crypto space know about, right? Even though it's pretty old, like it's been around for 6-7 years, but it's pretty unique in what it does, right? So do you want to talk more about why is it unique and why do people not know about it?
I believe I have interacted with many people from Web3, and you're right, not many people know it. In some weird conversation where we are talking about some other thing, and the Arweave comes up, and they're like, "Oh, we are using this as our decentralized storage or as a permanent storage." And I think this is one of the most talked solution when it comes to the storage. Whenever somebody is interacting with storage, I think people do talk about it. People who don't interact with it are really not that aware.
Yeah, I agree. And being in the normal conversation of blockchain specifically, it was meant to be like a ledger. It should be acting as an immutable ledger, which blocks by blocks, and you keep appending new transactions going forward, Bitcoin or Ethereum. So that was the normal understanding of a blockchain. But Arweave took a little bit of different approach where they founded the principle of block weave and how they can optimize storage within a block much more efficiently, and their entire understanding the way of framework of betting on the storage storage price reducing each and every year, and that will basically make the storage on Arweave last much more years. I think they do state at a base it will be around 200 years, but it'll keep on increasing as prices of storage goes down.
Yeah, because the tech is so unique, right? Like permanent storage, we have so many storage blockchains out there, but nobody kind of does it the way Arweave does it, right? I'm always curious, like why? Because we have, Filecoin has a way bigger market cap than Arweave, right? But I mean, do you think the tech of Filecoin is better than Arweave?
Not particularly. So the concept of permanent storage in a way that you pay once and it stays forever, right? And so when you're storing things on Filecoin, there's like a monthly payment or like a payment after some period, right? It's not exactly permanent storage because you still risk losing your data at some point of time if you stop paying. The great thing with Arweave is that you just upload it once, pay for it once, and it's there forever. So I think that's something that I haven't seen any other protocol do, any other chain do, right? And that's like personally for me, I see that as a huge use case for Arweave is that you pay once, stays forever.
Yeah, and just what people tell me is that when they hear that, right, pay once, store forever, because most services or most things don't exist that way. People say it's a scam.
Yeah,
right? That's the first thing people say. So you guys want to talk more about how exactly the tech works, because it's kind of cool, right? The storage of network miners. Anyone wanna dive deep a little bit into?
It's all in the how they're incentivizing the people who are storing this, and it's really this is what is making Arweave different than other tech who are trying to do decentralized storage. Is the way they are incentivizing the people who are hosting this data. So there are many blocks of data, right? So there are people are incentivized to store the more repeated blocks and incentivize more when they store the newer blocks. So every data that comes in, I think the core function, the core things that how it is achieving that permanence is in the how they're incentivizing the storage.
Yeah.
So I think that is really different from what other tech is doing. So I think the main essence of how it is achieving that is in that.
Yeah. I think because you read the white paper, right? They clearly Sam talks about how the cost of storage has been declining, right, over the known foreseeable time that we know, and basically the price of the block is kind of set based on how much initially goes to miners upfront versus the endowment fund that can then keep it for the 200 years, right? So even if all activity stops in Arweave, there is enough money in the endowment to make sure the cost of storage is viable enough that storage miners are incentivized to store forever, right? And which is why I guess people don't like, people in the industry, like people in our circles don't like saying forever, right? But yeah, 200 years is basically forever, right?
Exactly.
And of course,
it's
200 years assuming all activity stops, right? Cost of storage never declines, and all activity on Arweave stops, right? So yeah, it is very cool tech, but and it's all in the white paper. I think we definitely need to do a better job of explaining that tech to other people.
Yeah, I think user adoption and getting it out there to actual developers, trying this out, that's something that Arweave can really benefit from. because there's already like so much data present on Arweave, but the more the merrier.
100%. Yeah.
And I think the thing is, initially, Arweave became and sort of a way to store the metadata for NFT. Like that was one of the largest use cases for Arweave back in those days when people would use IPFS for storing metadata, and then Arweave became an option for storing permanent metadata. I think people have found much more larger use cases on top of Arweave, and now upcoming of the AO, which allows you to even do compute on top of the data that you store on Arweave. Now even larger use cases have opened up.
Exactly. Because storage is one only aspect, right? And Arweave is clearly solved for that.
Yeah.
So now with AO, right, we want to solve for compute, right? Decentralized compute. And with AO and the new version HyperBeam, right? I think once again, AO and HyperBeam are kind of changing the way things are done in the blockchain, right? The way AO is designed is very different, right? And so we have AO core, and we have HyperBeam, right? So let's talk about how AO is so different, and what are the technologies that AO has enabled that sort of other blockchains have kind of missed out on.
So AO started out being a compute layer on top of Arweave. So basically, it allowed you to create processes as entities, which can basically communicate between different other entities, other processes via messaging. So that was the core idea between AO, and that's how you can create cool applications on top of existing data that is present on Arweave. And things progressed. LegacyNet was the first the network that was provided people could deploy their own processes, create fun applications, use cases, DeFi protocols. Yeah. So and then things started up.
And adding to this, AO is often called the hyper parallel supercomputer, and when you aren't restricted with the amount of compute that you can do, I think that enables you to so many use cases, be it AI, be it hardware. So yeah, you have this whole new world open where you're not limited by the hardware that you have.
Yeah. I think that was the fundamental tech, right? Where from one blockchain, right, one giant supercomputer, we kind of split it into multiple computers. So each process, right, each message is kind of independent of the network, right?
And the way they interact with each other is really interesting. They interact through messages, and yeah, I think how the essence of parallelity is really amazing, and how each process can interact with each other. So the possibilities are just limitless. How much you can scale.
Yeah.
I think the scalability is the biggest advantage of AO.
Yeah. And so scalability, and then with HyperBeam, it sort of took that scalability and now sort of expanded so much more, right? It's not just scalable. We're kind of building like a new protocol, like a new foundation of the internet, right? In the way we communicate. So yeah, let's talk about how have we progressed from AO to HyperBeam. With the AO core sort of setting the foundation, and HyperBeam building. The three main things with HyperBeam are we got the devices, we got the messages, and we got the paths, right? So you guys want to talk about what is HyperBeam, right? And how does it work?
So HyperBeam is the implementation of the AO core protocol, and what's so great about it is that it enables AO in itself to interact with the rest of the internet, right? So HyperBeam in itself has HTTP, verifiable HTTP calls. You have messages, and you have devices. So devices in particular, you can imagine HyperBeam like a plain Lego sheet, and devices has all these little blocks that you can add on top of it and build anything that you want, any kind of node that you want, any functionality that you want. So it really gives node operators and devs the opportunity to experiment and add functionality from themselves, and expand what AO was doing into a way that the existing internet can utilize it in the best possible way.
Yeah, definitely. And before HyperBeam, when we were using AO, of course, when AO started, we had some visionary technologies, but once developing, the developers also realized they had to build some sort of oracle to do some sort of you need some sort of centralized entity to do some heavy lifting. But with HyperBeam, with devices, it's amazing what you can do with those devices and make those oracle decentralized. And yeah, I think HyperBeam is able to do it beautifully.
Exactly, because every HTTP request is verified. Right? So you don't need to trust an external sort of server to believe in the data.
Agree,
Definitely.
totally agree.
Yeah.
And like the entire, the concept of greenhouses, which are basically the TEs, which make sure your compute was, done in a trusted execution environment, which are the TEs. It's amazing to see because, in that way, any compute that, anyone wants to, process can be verified on via the HyperBeam, architecture.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, most applications, most blockchains, they typically focus on DeFi apps, right? And small games, right? There's no real big B2C applications that we see on other blockchains, right? And AO and Hypebeam with its scalability, I think is really going for that segment,
Yeah.
right? So what are the cool apps, that you've seen try to build on it? Because I mean, the current hype is all about AI, right? Everybody's building AI right now. And I think the way other blockchains kind of designed, they sort of don't offer that scalability for true on-chain AI. But with AO, right, we've spoken about in the Hypebeam, and especially on TEs, right, verifiable AI compute is actually possible.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of that?
Even me, as coming someone who does hardware a lot, verifiability is something that is really important to me. When I talk about hardware, some devices like IoT devices which we don't interact with, they work on their own, and they are everywhere in our day-to-day life. And it's really important for us to know if that data is verifiable or not, even though if it's stored somewhere else. I want to know that if my data is verified or not, if that compute happened at that moment or not. Yeah, that is something I think about a lot, and Hyperbeam is making it possible.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Could you have done IoT devices on other blockchains?
I have tried, but I have failed horribly because how rigid other blockchains are, and it's super complicated to do it in other blockchains. So I still remember my time at Hacker House when I was building this. I was amazed how easily I can send AO messages from my hardware. So it's an interesting story of how we started with a dumb device like an ESP, and we had to build our own Oracle. With Hyperbeam, we can build our own devices, and so I was rethinking that idea, and yeah, I have tried building hardware on other blockchains, but it's mostly either data ending up there or it has been using for some other purposes. But on AO with Hyperbeam, it's like endless possibilities, right? You are just eliminating the whole centralized entity and replacing it.
Coming to AI, Hyperbeam in its core uses Erlang, right? And it's a really fast, it's a really scalable language. So if you're running models on top of Hyperbeam, instead of running it on your own hardware, you need a lot of compute on your own. And putting it up on on Hyperbeam, it really benefits you in the way that you pay such a little cost on mainnet for it, and then you can basically get verifiable AI inference from anywhere.
True. Agreed. Yeah, Erlang was was one of the popular choices for working with distributed systems, and the entire architecture revolves around multiple compute units and nodes and everything. So yeah, definitely it does make sense. Also adding on to the some cool exciting applications that I've come across recently. It's circling around AI and Arweave would be the new AO dev bot that the team behind AO has launched. It's pretty interesting to build cool fun apps just by a single prompt, and it creates a process running behind, and we tried building some fun games today, and it was a very fun, exciting moment for us to see how amazing these these LLMs have come across as of right now. Back when before 3 years back, and the way they are able to generate code so accurately, and yeah, it's amazing to see that.
Yeah, I'm personally excited for Apis that's building the GPU network, because I mean AI is typically run on GPUs, right?
Yeah.
They cannot run on CPUs, and I don't know of other blockchains that have a GPU network within their blockchain, right? With AO, I mean, since we spoke of devices, right? You can host an AI model as a device and do inference on chain, right? Because on chain here for us is just a computer, right? It's just a computer that's sending verified messages. That's it. And so with Apis building out GPU computers and a GPU device, right? I'm excited for true AI inference running at the speed of GPUs, right? Which is comparable to what everybody else is running. But now it's on the blockchain. It is true verified AI inference. And so I'm excited to see what they do. And the application then we can build on Apis, right? Running on Apis, where anyone then can plug into these AI models. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've been trying out APUS on the legacy net for quite some time right now, and I'm really excited to see what they can accomplish with their GPU devices on top of HyperBeam. Again, with it being so fast, it being so scalable, I'm really excited to see what they can pull off on HyperBeam.
Yeah. So, one thing I keep thinking about is why has nobody else done this, right? I mean, we have so many blockchains out there, right? That have started so long ago. They have so much money, right? I mean, the blockchain industry as a whole is like what, $1 trillion industry now, right? So, I mean, AO and Arweave also pretty new, pretty old. But why? What gives AO that special, special thing, special powers that nobody else before has done it? Or if you guys know of something similar, like what makes AO so unique that it's first of its kind, from what I think.
AO in itself is, uses data from Arweave, and as a blockchain, Arweave is pretty unique, right? Permanent storage isn't something that I've seen any other chain or any other protocol do. So when you can be sure that the state of your compute is always permanent, then that really comes in handy when you compare it with any other protocol that has tried to do this.
Verifiability.
Yeah, verifiability comes in really handy. And the same thing goes with HyperBeam, right? HyperBeam under the hood will always use Arweave as a place to verify the state of the data. So I think Arweave being a base layer for storage for all these compute protocols that the forward research team has been building, I think that really comes in handy, and that's the reason I believe is why that other protocols cannot pull what the team here has.
And something that I would like to add on what Vansh shared right now would be other protocols, like for example, let's talk about Ethereum. What did they face during their journey? It was scalability, right? So they built a protocol which was decentralized. Everybody was running their own nodes, so the validator network was secure. But the problem that they faced was their entire layer one blockchain was quite inscalable. TPS was quite low. People were paying high gas fees to transact small amounts of small amounts of transactions. So this was a very big problem, and the way Vitalik phrases this is basically the trifecta problem of a blockchain. Three blockchain can never have these three properties all at once. These are basically scalability, decentralization, and security. So if we say Ethereum is decentralized, meaning there are multiple nodes securing the network, so it is secure, it is decentralized, so it cannot be scalable. So their approach to solve scalability was their rollups, layer 2s, and as you can see, they are working on their end, like how to scale Ethereum. But on our end, Arweave and AO, we took a very different approach. First, Arweave itself is a block weave, meant hyper optimized to store data, and AO is a compute layer on top of Arweave, which allows you to hyperscale compute on AO by creating processes and running running verifiable compute on T's, and running your own now using HyperBeam, creating HTTP requests right from the CUs itself. It's amazing. So I think that would be the reason why other protocols fail to scale at a stage how AO is able to scale right now. So that would be.
So do you think AO solves that trifecta problem? I mean, because it's a very famous problem in the blockchain space, right?
True. I think so. Yeah.
AO solves it.
Because you've got decentralization down, anyone can run their compute unit, anyone can run their HyperBeam node. You've got security down with the way HyperBeam is designed with the green zone devices. If all your compute runs in a TE, you can be sure that if it's a TE signed compute, it's you can trust it. And then you had decentralization, you had security, and then you had scalability. With AO, you can make as many processes as you want, run any compute on them. So I think all three of these checkpoints have been accomplished by HyperBeam and AO itself. So I believe, they definitely do solve this problem.
And one question which struck me was why nobody else is doing it. You see tech getting copied all the time, right? We don't have one chain, we have multiple chains. Like you see Anycoin, they have multiple versions of it. What makes us so different? Why nobody else is copying? I think it's a very humane reason, which is intent. In the hackers, I was talking with Sam and I asked him why the permanent storage, and there was this one simple answer which was history is always written by victors, and we wanted to change that. And even if you read the first paper, this one time I went through Sam's permanent page and I was just scrolling, so I read his first paper, and from the very core you can feel that it's all about like giving the control back. And I think it's all in the intent where nobody else is doing it. If you look at how they're incentivizing their node owners, if you look at how they're incentivizing the coins, and how the overall layer is built is all around community, and it's all of us. People are contributing. I think it's a very humane reason of why this is not getting copied.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. I think AI and Arweave as a company just focus on the tech, right? They believe in the people, right? They believe in humanity, and they're building for the good, right? They don't care about, most people care about the currency, right? Care about the price, care about, just creating a token, and, getting traffic. And it's funny that people, in the blockchain industry now talk about TPS, right? But in AO, there is no meaning of TPS, right? Because we have infinite processes. We can have, every process can have literally actually infinite messages because it's just a computer, right? It operates like a server, like the real world. Nobody asks you, when you have a website, what's your TPS in your website? Like I click a button, I can upgrade my computer, right? I can get a bigger machine that'll offer more TPS. I think AO following that procedure and the way the internet works is great, and with keeping blockchain principles in mind, right? And that's the key that people are forgetting. With HyperBeam coming out, right? What are you guys excited about? So HyperBeam now is in beta 2. I think milestone 2 now we've reached, right? So I've been tracking the GitHub a lot. Right? I go through the branches, go through the commits. So what are you guys excited about in the immediate future of HyperBeam?
Well, for starters, I am really in love with the relay device because it's been like a huge it was an issue in the legacy net that you can't verifiably make HTTP calls out of a process, and you really need that to actually be connected with the existing internet out there, right? And HyperBeam as a whole, I've been going through the code, I've been contributing a bit to it, and the relay device is something that I found really interesting. The green zone devices were pretty interesting. The use case that they come up with. Sam had another PR with the omnibus devices, where basically you can enable the user to serve the perma web without even having a wallet. So that's like a huge user experience boost for people. So yeah, I think these devices that are coming up with milestone 2 are something that I'm really excited about.
Definitely. And yeah, same as Vansh. I was really excited about relay devices. I think most people who come from the legacy net and AO are running towards HyperBeam right now because it solves so many problems. And overall, I'm really excited about the devices and hashpath. Right, so it's really exciting. Like, and we are rethinking our own hardware protocol because of how HyperBeam is designed. And it would be super excited to see new use cases, new protocols popping up. And yeah, in general, I also track the GitHub and see what's new. And these are exciting times, right?
Exciting times.
Yeah, like for us, even in our project, initially during the during our days in a hacker house, when HyperBeam was not as fleshed out as it is right now, we had to still rely on the legacy net. So we had to build our own Oracle just to make our project functioning. But now we are migrating our entire architecture back to HyperBeam using all of the cool devices out there. Vansh was talking about relay and a bunch of other. So yeah, so we are really excited about how we can use HyperBeam at its peak.
Nice. Yeah, devices are definitely core to HyperBeam. So definitely, I'm personally excited for the migration. Right, us migrating from legacy to mainnet.
True.
And yeah, it's about time. I think a few weeks, months, hopefully. And yeah, once that happens, HyperBeam will be everywhere. So it'll be great. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. It's a great conversation, guys.